Ashley with Airborne Canine Dog Training, and we had a client recently who ordered the Dogtra 1900S Handsfree Plus. And since Dogtra has recently started adding in a couple options that we really like our boost and our lock option, I wanted to go ahead and review this because it's the first time we've had these in stock. So let's get into it. Now, we do primarily use a different brand of e-collar, but it's all about personal preference as long as it's a good quality. There are a few brands that we choose, and then if you try and get something cheap off of Amazon, you're just going to be disappointed. So Dogtra is one of the great brands that we do recommend. And so one of the nice things about Dogtra is it always comes with a nice hard case. So this is helpful for traveling, keeping everything organized and contained, keeping all of your chargers and your collar and your remote and everything together. And this is the hands-free model, so you're going to have the hand button as well. So inside the case, we have all of our parts. You're going to have some resources, a manual, step-by-step guides as well. And so we're going to kind of go through all that. Most of these collars, when they show up, they are fully charged, which is nice. So you can take it out of the box and plug and play. So in order to turn on the remote first, there is a blue button on the side, and you're just going to hold that until it turns on. Once the screen turns blue, it's on. You can see it even has a battery display, so you know just how much charge you have, so there's no guessing. That is the battery level for the remote, not for the collar. For the collar, you also have a similar blue button, and there's going to be a light on the opposite side of the collar. So we're going to press the blue button until the light turns green. There we go. Now our collar is on. Once you do that, the light will blink occasionally to let you know that the collar is on. So you just saw right there, it turned blinked green. One of the ways you can know if your collar is starting to get low on battery, this will start flashing either orange, or if it's very low, red. Once you start getting into that red category, like red blinking light, the consistency with which the e-collar is going to be effective might be not as good. So like you're not going to get as much consistency with the collar once it starts to get in that red zone. And honestly, if it starts to get into orange, I just immediately recharge it. Well, actually, I charge it every night, so I don't really have that problem. But what else is in here is you're going to have your charger with your dual ends, so that way you can charge your remote and your collar at the same time. Like I said, I can charge mine every single night. You have the optional belt clip, so if you want to add the belt clip to your remote, it has the screws put on there that we can hang it on your belt. And this is the part I'm really excited about checking out. It is the hands-free extension. So I'm going to carefully take this out because, again, this is going to go to my client, but we did get permission to take it out and do a little demonstration for everybody. It comes with some stickers so you can label what the button does, which is pretty cool. And you have N, C, P, and B. I'm going to assume that N is for Nick, C is for consistent, P is for pager, and B is for boost. That's my best guess. And then you have levels 1 through 6. So, or collars 1 through 6. Probably collars. Either way, you're going to label it with what it is that you want your hands-free to do. So I just took this out. I haven't used this before. I'm going to take a guess and say it's paired. One of the ways you can know is that when you press the button, it'll activate the collar. So you'll see it turn green. It means I'm pressing the button. So right now it's set to continuous. So if I turn this on to a level, let's say I'm going to put it to like level, let's say 14. And I press this, it should be continuous on the collar. Now, something I'm noticing right off the bat, and I think this is fairly common when you have hands-free options, whether it's a finger kick, or this one goes around your wrist or around your palm. So the way you would kind of set this up. Right through here. I'm gonna take a wild guess. Oh, my guess was wrong. Okay. So it has a nice little buckle in here to whatever size you want. Then we're gonna put it back through. Bam. Okay. So this goes on your hand like this, so that way you can press the button. I'll tell you right now, that's a little bit weird. I'm having a little trouble pressing the button myself. So if I have it actually in my hand like this, I can't really hit my button very easily from that position. I'd have to have it kind of up here and then press the button. So personally, it's a little bit weird. I guess I could also have it like in my palm like this, and that way I could press it this way. That's not so bad. And that way I can still do everything with my hands. It's a little bit awkward for me. I know a lot of people like this style, so if it works for you, it works for you. Okay, so now that that's on your hand, what I want to show you is what I'm seeing here. So the green light, when I press the button, tells you that it's on, but I want you to pay attention to how long before or after I press this button before this actually activates. So press. There was almost a 1 Mississippi pause. Press. Now. So there is a pretty decent delay. Now, depending on what exactly it is you're doing with your e-collar, that could maybe not be a big deal. If we're looking for a lot of precision, that could be a problem. So depending on what it is that you're doing, dang, put that up a little high. Yeah, and even to feel it, like there's also that delay. Press. So, hey. If it works, it works. If it meets your needs, that's great. For me personally, I am very picky about my e-collar, when I'm using it, when I'm not using it. So I think for me, that delay might be a bit of a problem. Now, if I'm just using the hand transmitter, you know, that delay is significantly decreased. There's still a little bit of a delay, but not very much. So not too bad, but just things to keep in mind when you're choosing which e-collar you want to get. You know, I've had the luxury of being a dealer for Dogtra and several other e-collar manufacturers, so I get the opportunity to kind of take out and mess around with the different e-collars that are out there. I do love having a hands-free option. So that way, if I am using, you know, a clicker, if I'm using my leash, if I have a tab, I have a toy, I have, you know, treat pouch, you know, I have a little bit more liberty to use my hands in different ways when I have the hands-free option. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about having this type. I'm used to a different type where it actually just goes on your finger like a ring. But hey, it's all about personal preference and what works for you and your training style. So yeah, but the other options that are on here is our continuous. We now have our boost here in the front. So right now we don't have the boost set, so we can program the boost by setting our rheostat dial to 0. So once we set our e-collar to 0, I'm gonna hold the boost button for 5 seconds until the LED is blinking. So I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now it's blinking. And now I'm going to turn the boost up to whatever boost level I want. So I'm gonna set the boost to 5 by turning the rheostat dial to 5. And then I'm going to tap the boost button again. No. And that should be it. So what that does is if I have my level set to, let's say 10, it should boost it up to 15. So right now it's set at 10. If I press it, 15. Booyah. So again, if it's 10, the boost turns it up to 15. So if I wanted to change my boost levels, let's say I wanted to go up 10 levels instead of 5 levels. Again, I'm going to turn this all the way down to 0. I'm going to hold the boost button until that LED starts blinking. It's going to take about 5 seconds. Boom. I'm going to turn the rheostat up to 10. And then I'm going to tap this button. And that locks it in. So what that means now is if my level is set at 5, it's going to boost it up to 15. Boom. If my level is set to 10, whoops, wrong way. It's going to boost up to 20. Pretty cool, huh? Really easy to do. Now, the other new feature that they have is to lock. So what we're going to do, if we want to lock the level, is once we set it to a level we want, so right now we're set at 10, let's say I want to lock it at 10, all I got to do is tap the blue button, the power button on the side. So, my level's set at 10, I'm going to tap that blue button, now it's locked, and you can see the little lock symbol on the side there, so that tells me it's locked in. So no matter how much I turn this dial, it stays on level 10. Now if I want to unlock it, all I gotta do is tap that button again. And now it went all the way up to where my rheostat was. So I turned it all the way up to like 35, so it jumped up to 35. So something to kind of keep in mind, right? If you're gonna unlock it, make sure you double check to see what level you're on, just in case you bump that rheostat dial on the top while your remote was locked. So some of the other features that are on here, you know, we talked about just the levels, the programming and stuff like that. We talked about the boost. So right now the boost is set to 10. We have the 2 side buttons here. So on the side of the collar, the bottom one is our constant, which means as long as I'm holding it, it's activating the collar and it'll stay on. As soon as I let go of the button, it turns off. The other button, the top button, the one that has the little nubs on it, this is going to be our nick. Nick means that I can press it and hold it, but it's only going to activate it for a moment. So I'm going to press and hold it. I want you to see what this light does. It's only going to turn on for a second. So I'm still holding it, but that light turned off, right? So even though I'm holding it, it's only going to do it for a second. So that's what we call a nick. And some of the other collars, it's called momentary, meaning it's only for a moment. So the boost is always going to be continuous. It doesn't look like it has an option to change the boost to a nick setting, but that's okay. You know, honestly, I never really used a nick anyways. If I want to nick my dog, I'm just going to press the continuous for a second anyways. Again, it all comes down to personal preference. So, yeah. And again, I learned this right here while I was watching the video. It has a really simple how-to guide on how to set it up. If you want to program your boost, if you want to lock your remote, everything's in here. This comes with your e-collar. Also comes with a video that you can access. And of course your manual. But yeah, if you have questions, you can always reach out to me. I'm Ashley, I'm Airborne Canine. You can also reach out to Dogtra directly. If you need to order anything, feel free to give us a call, shout out to us, check out our website, and yeah, have a great day. Enjoy your day with your dog.